Thank you, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Tony Rodriguez. I am the founder of the Get Up and Grow Consulting and Get Up and Grow movement, where we help people grow through what they go through. Because in life, we all go through so many things, yet so many people get stuck in that old story and never grow through the challenges that they've experienced. I'm here to tell you and say congratulations for having survived the worst days of your life, because you are today who you are because of the challenges that you went through. So many people don't grow through whatever they went through, and they just keep going through it. They just get up and go every morning. They get up and they just go. They go. They're on automatic, right? The reality is we can't, it's not enough to just get up and go. And that's okay for a little while where you're just surviving, you're kind of making your way through. But at some point, you've got to grow through what it is that you went through, what it is that you're going through, so you can get to the other side, so you can get to the next level of your life. So you can have that happier, healthier, more fulfilled life, because we're often stuck in our old stories. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So thank you again for joining us. This is the top 3 secrets for living a happier, more fulfilled life. And I would just want to say thank you, everyone that's been here. I appreciate you. And I promise you won't be disappointed. So here's the question that I want to ask you, and I want to ask everyone. And you can feel free to answer in the chat. What does everyone want? What does everybody really want? Right? What does everybody want? And the question is, what do you really want? What does Victoria want? What does Beth want? What does Darlene want? Or Jeff? Or Edward? Because we all want different things. So the question is, what is it that you really want? And write down in the chat, what is it that you really want? Because I'm here to tell you that the only reason you don't have what it is you say you want is because of the bullshit reason you keep telling yourself as to why you can't have it. Because the reality is we can have just about anything it is that we want in life if we're willing to pay the price. And the price isn't always financial. More often than not, it's time, it's dedication, it's discipline, it's sacrifice. It's taking that time, putting in the sweat equity, doing the hard stuff. A lot of times we don't do that, and we just want to do the easy stuff. And the reality is we can't get upset for the results we don't have for the work that we didn't do, right? So here's my promise to you. I promise you that today in this short 40 minutes or 45 minutes that we're going to be here together, I promise you're going to get tips and strategies. They're going to help you start to live an even happier, more fulfilled life today if you just take action. Because ultimately, action is the cure for so many things. It's the cure for anxiety. It's the cure for depression. It's the cure for lack of energy. It's a cure for boredom. It's a cure for a lot of different things. It's taking massive action in the direction that you want to take your life to. So my bold promise is that today you're going to get some of those tips that are going to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. So just a little bit about me. I've been a business owner for 32, going on actually probably closer to 34 years now. I got to update that slide. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a show host. I've been in real estate for 34 years. And I've helped thousands of people have breakthroughs on my own through events at the Tony Robbins event. Because of course, one of the things that I do and I'm known for is I'm also a trainer with Tony Robbins, hence my shirt that I'm wearing on this particular photo. So between my own things, my own events and events of other people, and through Tony Robbins events, I've helped thousands of people have these life-changing breakthroughs. I've started and run 14 companies in multiple industries, everything from an equestrian center with 44 stalls and a show barn and all of those things to a bar, restaurant, and nightclub, to a construction company for ground up construction, and another company for buying and flipping homes, and a lot of different things that I've done along the time. So I've had a lot of experience in a lot of different places in and around real estate and the ancillary businesses that come with it. I am the founder, of course, of the Get Up and Grow movement and consulting. I'm the host of the Tony Talks podcast. And again, as I mentioned before, I've been in the personal development space for 25 years, starting with Tony Robbins so many years ago. Here are just a couple of photos that I put up just to give people an understanding of who it is that I am and where I've been, and the people that I've spent time learning from and mastering some of the crafts that I've garnered, and some of the wisdom I've got over the years, from Gary Vee to Tony Robbins to Brendan Burchard and Dean Graziosi, speaking on stage. And here's a couple more people that you're going to recognize: Dan Clark, Tim Story, Jack Canfield, Peter Diamandis, and of course, Mr. Biohacking himself. Another couple of good people who become friends, mentors who have become friends. So it's an important part, who do you surround yourself with, right? So that was just a couple of little montage of where I've been and where I've picked up and learned so many of the things that I've learned, and I continue to learn. So I continue to share what it is that I do, who I am, and not just share a little bit of my mind, as they say, but also share a little bit of my heart. So why do I do what I do? I think that as we go through life and we learn those lessons in life, and sometimes it takes us a very long time to learn, to grow through the things that we have to go through, to develop ourselves and grow beyond the pain, grow beyond the difficulty, grow beyond the struggle, and understand yesterday's struggle was today's strength. I went on this endeavor myself 25 years ago through Tony Robbins to improve myself because, listen, I'm an immigrant kid. I came here when I was 6 years old. My parents didn't speak English. I didn't speak English. It was one of the toughest things I had to do. My siblings stayed back in Portugal for a while until they finished school. And it was just a rough go. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, without my siblings for the first couple of months, not speaking the language, not knowing anyone. And the reality of it is, I lived in an abusive household. There was a lot of mental and physical and verbal abuse, emotional abuse. There was a lot of that growing up. So I had a hard time growing up. And in my teens, I was suicidal. On multiple occasions, I had those razor blades out into my wrist, and I always said, man, can't do this because who's going to tell my mom? She doesn't deserve it because she was going through some of that abuse as well. Well, because God has a sense of humor, on my 18th birthday, I died in a car accident. And I had that near death experience where the out of body experience where I just see myself looking at the car and it's all mangled up and my cousin's ripping at the door to get me out. And then the next scene is I'm in the hospital laying on a gurney and I'm about 25 feet up. It seemed like, of course, the ceilings in the ORs aren't 25 feet, but it felt like I was 25 feet up looking down at my body. And I was just saying to myself, the same thing I said 2 years prior, who the hell is going to tell my mom I'm dead? I didn't say who the hell. I used a four-letter word that also happened to save my life, by the way, because just before impact, I turned to my cousin who was driving. I'm like, ah, and I was ejected sideways, which saved my life. Because if I was straight, I would have been ejected from the car. This way, my hips kept me in. Anyway, long story short, I survived. But here's the thing. I would have died at 18 without having lived, never had a girlfriend, never having experienced life because I was a battered kid. So I was that shy kid that nobody knew. And you wouldn't know me today if not for that, right? So we all go through these things that are difficult. And I went through that. And for years I harbored that because it broke me. It broke my body. It messed with my memory. So it did a lot of these things. And this webinar certainly isn't about me, but I'm just trying to explain to you who I am, where I've come from, and where I am today, and the lessons that I learned along the way, and why it's so important. I didn't get stuck in that. I was stuck in that until in my teens and even into my 20s as I started to succeed. I got into real estate at 18 years old because I didn't go to college. I didn't go to college because my father always said that I wasn't smart enough. I'd never amount to anything. And what I didn't want to do, I didn't want to prove him right. Right. So I was afraid of that because I had no self-confidence. So that's something else that I had to build. And I started building that from when I was 18 forward. And I overcame him gambling again, betting against my success in real estate. And I persevered and I said, I'm going to make more money than he ever did. And I did. Right. By the time I'm 23 years old, I'm buying my first house. I'm opening up my first real estate company at 24. Life was going well, but I still had all this weight behind me because my fuel of choice was anger and rage. And I wanted to overcome that. Right. And I wanted to beat him. I wanted to win. And you know what I did? But whatever burns too hot usually burns out. So I found Tony Robbins when I was just really just not in a good place in my life. And just then I realized that life, a couple of two key points that I learned at that time that really resonate to today. Well, three really. One is my definition of success. What does that mean? And that's a good question for me to ask you. What is your definition of success? For me, which I learned back then, and I still use a big part of it today, is to be able to do what I want, when I want, for as long as I want, with whoever I want, right? Of course, I'm married, so that changes things a little bit, right? But it's really about having that time freedom and that financial freedom. And that's really what I think so many people want. Going back to what do people really want? They want to feel seen, heard, understood. They want to have that financial certainty, that security. They want to have the ability to impact people perhaps, or leave a legacy. At least for me, my goal is to leave this world and everyone I meet a little bit better than I found them, right? So part of my reasons for success is that. But of course, the other two things that I learned that I want to share with you today is that where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on the negative things that are happening in your life, guess what? You're going to find more negative. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we go through. And I'm going to be talking about the RES system and everything else. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the other thing that I learned is that life is happening for us and not to us. And granted, that might not be true 100% of the time, but the vast majority of the time, life is happening for us, preparing us for what it is that we say we've asked for. You want something? Well, life's going to challenge you to see if you really want it, because life is preparing you for what it is you say you want. Those trials and tribulations, those difficulties, those struggles, they're preparing you, giving you the strength, building up that muscle, that resilience, that emotional that emotional integrity, that emotional intelligence to endure and face the things that you're going to have to face to get to the place and to the things that you really want to get to. So that's why I do what I do, because I want to help transform decades into days, if I could, for you, to help bring you faster, further, so you don't have to go through the same torment that I did through my 20s and 30s and in business and dealing with family and business and kids and multiple businesses and partnerships. And I had a partner that betrayed me and cost me 8 figures, knocked me to almost down to nothing. Right. So for the last 4 years, I've been rebuilding who I am and had to rebuild a lot of me inside as well. Right. So that's just a little bit of who I am, probably a lot more than I probably should have gotten into here. But certainly that's why I do what I do, is to give people hope, to help people through to the other side. And that's what I'm doing here, is to help prepare you so you can live, as I said, a happier, more fulfilled life. So what's Get Up and Grow? I already mentioned a little bit of that. It's about helping people grow through what they go through, so that they can come out the other side stronger and be the version of themselves that they want to be, that they need to be for their family, for themselves, so they can live the life that they want to live the life of their dreams, and support the people around them, make the impact that they want to make, right? So it's about turning decades into days, just to help you grow through what you go through, so you stop going through it. Because until you grow through it, you keep going through it. And of course, it's also a platform to give people a platform to be able to speak, to share their stories, because I think it's epically important. Like, my story is my story, but it's not mine to keep. What good is it going to be if I just keep that story to myself? Your story might be yours, my story is mine, but it's mine not to keep, but mine to share, so that I can help other people that perhaps are going through the same thing and feel that there's no hope. That's why I was suicidal at 16. I couldn't see my life better than it was at the moment, right? So if I can help be the light for someone else, help them turn on their own light again, that's what I'm here for. That's what Get Up and Grow is about. And that's why we're growing through. That's like that tree, right? The root system. And then, of course, you have the tree. But sometimes, you have to put a lot of crap on the ground, on the roots, to fertilize it. And that's what happens in our lives. The bad things fertilize our future. So who does this work for? This works for anyone that's in business, in sales, anyone that deals with people. Specifically entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, people that want to get more out of life, but yet we all have the same amount of time. So how do you get more out of life? How do you squeeze more juice out of the time and the experiences that you have? How to create those special moments? Because the little things are the big things. Those little moments wind up being the big moments that you look back on and really relish and really hang on to. So who does this work for? Salespeople, attorneys, authors, speakers. It even works for coaches, because there's a lot of coaches that are coaching to something that they perhaps haven't really felt and understood themselves. Here's what I can tell you. I don't coach to things that I don't understand intimately. I've either been through the fire myself, or I got so close that I burned my eyebrows off, right? So this is who I am. This is what Get Up and Grow is, and that's who this works for. So just to give you a little bit of the road ahead, we've already been talking a little bit about mindset. We're certainly going to be talking about, and here are the 3 big keys. The 3 big keys are gratitude, forgiveness, and the story that you keep telling yourself. And of course, at the end, I'm going to tell you a little something about a little something called the triad that'll help you shift how you feel in an instant. In an instant, you can change how you feel. If you're not feeling well, feeling down, depressed, sad, whatever, I can show you in an instant how to do this. So stay till the end. And I promise that'll be the little bonus session at the end. So, secret number one, gratitude. What's gratitude? I think everybody has a definition of gratitude, and everybody's definition may be a little different. My definition of gratitude is just to be thankful for the things, the people, the experiences in your life, the opportunities in your life, the blessings in your life, because there are blessings everywhere. There's so much to be grateful for. And the reality is, the more you look for things to be grateful for, the more you find. Seek and you shall find, as it says in the good book, and probably all good books. Seek and you shall find. The more you seek, the more you find. Now, Rumi also said, what you find depends greatly on what you seek. So what are you looking for? Are you looking for the good things in your life? Or are you looking for the bad things? Because guess what, my friends? The bad things, going back to what I said before, the first thing I learned from Tony was where focus goes, energy flows, right? So the bad things in life are always available, right? I always look down and to the left for the bad things in life and over to the right for the good things. And you can do it either way. It doesn't matter. But if you look down at the bad things, you can focus on that. You're going to feel like crap. And you're going to find more problems within the problems. And those problems create more problems. The reality is you may have 10 or 12 or 14 bad things happening and only have one beautiful ray of sunshine. Guess what? That's all you need. All you need is to focus on that one thing. And we all have one thing. If you're here right now, right here with me, you're blessed so much more than many. Because everyone who died yesterday had plans for today. You've got technology in the palm of your hand, or you're looking at a computer or a TV screen or a monitor or whatever it is. You've got more technology than so many people in the world. You're alive. You can see, you can hear. And if you can't see, you can hear. If you can't hear, you can see. You can touch. You probably have the use of your limbs. So much that we have to be thankful for, including waking up every morning and taking your first breath. And that's exactly when I tell people you should be grateful. In the morning, be grateful for another day. Be grateful for another opportunity to live, to love, to be loved, to learn, to teach, to share, to experience life. So much to be grateful for. We go really deep on this on the masterclass. So gratitude is just expressing and that warm feeling that you're blessed, right? You're blessed by people, you're blessed by God, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in and what you look up to, right? And it's just a beautiful thing. This is just me expressing myself one morning in the beach in Florida, and it was a sunrise. It was a cool breeze. The water was warm, and it was just a beautiful moment somebody captured for me. So I'd like to put that in here. So let me ask you a question. What are you grateful for? I've already expressed a couple of things that I said I was grateful for. But the question that I have for you is, what are you grateful for? Now I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to encourage you to write it down. Put it in the chat if you're up to it. At the very least, write it down for yourself. Because as Jeff mentioned in the morning, one of the challenges that I give to every one of my clients that I work with is I tell them, give me 3 things you're grateful for every single day. And I did this one time with my friend Garth Sandiford, who is now the founder of the Daily Gratitude Movement, where people from 94, 97 countries come every single day to express their gratitude. And it's literally changed his life and is changing the lives of people around him that he has the opportunity to share with. The first time I asked him to send me 3 things he was grateful for, he only sent me 2. Running water or hot water and scented soap. He couldn't find the third. Little did I know, and I only found out a year later, that he had no power because he was literally broke. And he was at the end of his rope, and I didn't know that. But my giving him that hope of telling me what are 3 things you're grateful for, and every day he gave me 3 things he was grateful for 10 days. And I challenged this, and I want you to tell me 10 things you're grateful for the next 30 days. And he did. And here's the reality. The reality is he hasn't stopped. He hasn't stopped. And I will tell you, I don't want to, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you, because today is day 349 of year 5. So every day for the last nearly 5 years, he sent me 10 plus things he's grateful for. And every day he tells me something different, which is important. Now, when I do my daily, my morning routine, and part of it is gratitude, I do a gratitude spiral that I start with the same thing every day. You heard me say it before, right? Grateful for another day, an opportunity to live, to love, to be loved, to learn, to grow, to teach, to share, for the blessings, all of that. And then at the tail end of that, I add on new things every day. Because when you start a gratitude practice and you actually do it, you start to find more things. So every day, imagine that every day. And he inspires me because on the days that I forget to do my gratitude, I'm still doing gratitude because I'm reading his gratitudes. So he's the only person in the last several years. Actually, he's the only person ever that has continually sent me texts every single day without fail for the last nearly 5 years. And I'm sure he's going to continue doing it for the rest of his life or the rest of mine, whoever goes first. So it's absolutely epic. Write it down yourself right now on a piece of paper, put it in the chat, whatever you like. But what are you grateful for? Here I am doing a little priming in the morning and expressing gratitude to a couple of friends of mine, a couple of people that I'm in an inner circle with, one of my first inner circles as well. And here's some of the things I'm grateful for. Here's some trips. A trip I took with my family to Brazil when they were a little younger. Italy on the lower left-hand corner, just a beautiful sunrise down at the bottom. My dogs, three of them. My old dog that unfortunately is no longer with us, me and the kids when we were on the quad. And I actually reproduced that picture again before he died, which is amazing. Of course, my kids jumping up with their cousin on the beach. Some pictures of my brother, who I recently lost, and he was such an epically big part of my life. Pictures of us as little kids, my garden, a lake house that I go to, family, friends. I'm grateful for the opportunity to give and to contribute. The pictures on the bottom is, I do a basket brigade every year, and we feed hundreds of people every single Thanksgiving. So that's some of the things that I'm grateful for. So what are you grateful for? I spoke about this earlier. Your reticular activating system, when you look for things to be grateful for, you find more things to be grateful for. If you look around and says, what can I be grateful for? And you look around, what can I be grateful for? I can be grateful for this light, this ring light. I'd be grateful for that tripod, even though I'm not using it. I'm grateful for this laptop, for the stool that I'm sitting in, for the shirt that I'm wearing, for the windows that keep my house protected, for the air conditioning or the heat, for the electricity, the running water, the plumbing. I'm grateful for the shoes on my feet, the pants on my that I'm wearing, the cars, my family that's back behind me. I'm grateful for this home, right? What are you grateful for? Because when you start thinking, asking yourself, what could I be grateful for? You start to find more of it and find more reasons to be grateful. Your brain isn't here to make you happy. It's there to make you protect you and to really make you right. Right. So if you're looking for bad things, you're going to find bad things. If you're looking for good things, you're going to find those good things. So that's your reticular activating system. We'll talk more about that in the masterclass as well. And of course, oftentimes we talk about law of attraction. The reality is that your thoughts determine your experience. Thoughts are things we create with our minds. We create with our words. We cast spells with our words because we're listening, just like everyone else is. More on words in a moment. So the important thing is starting each day with a grateful heart. Say thank you every single day. Before your feet hit the ground, be grateful for something. Say thank you to God if that's what you're compelled to do. And of course, talking about attraction, the law of attraction, suggests that people attract what they focus on. Much as I was saying, what are you looking for? If you're looking for good, you're going to find more good and you're going to attract that into your life. If you're looking for bad, my friends, you are going to attract that into your life as well. The people around you, you're attracting them. You have bad people around you, I'm sorry to say, you attracted them. You want to have a different experience, you got to have a different vibe. As they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. Not only do you attract the people to you that you want in your life, you unfortunately also attract the people that you don't want to attract into your life based on the energy you're putting out, the words that you're using, right? And it's about projecting the words that you speak. Oftentimes we talk about gratitude. And I like to talk about because gratitude, it's easy to be grateful for what you had yesterday. It's easy to be grateful for what you have today. But how often do you think about being grateful for what's coming tomorrow, for what you want to attract into your life? I think that's just a huge component of that law of attraction is being grateful forward. That's why I wrote it down here. Be grateful forward. Like pay it forward, be grateful forward. Be grateful today for what's coming into your life tomorrow, what's coming to your life next week, next month, for that person, that love, if you're single, that love of your life that is coming towards you, because you know what? Maybe you're ready for them, but they're not ready for you. So you're attracting them and maybe they're attracting you and becoming who it is that they need to be for that to be the perfect person for you. But we're constantly attracting things into our life, the good and the bad. We all want to take credit for the good, but we have to take credit for the bad as well. So But again, more on that. Talking about gratitude again, I love Rumi, I love Wayne Dyer, and so many other amazing people. So I quote them a lot. And from Rumi, gratitude is the wine for the soul. Go on and get drunk, right? Just be grateful for everything that you have in your life. And of course, change is an important part of that as well. You know, when you can change your expectations, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. A little more Wayne Dyer, right? When we change the way we look at things, when we change and we change our expectation, because we oftentimes expect someone to behave like us, to think like us, to act like us, to do what we would do. It's important to remember that not everybody has your heart. Not everybody has your work ethic. Not everybody has your skill. Not everybody has whatever it is that you expect them to have. So maybe it's not about expecting them to be a certain way, but meeting them where they are and changing your expectation for appreciation. I promise you, everything starts to change. Instead of expecting someone to be a certain way, be grateful that they're in your life. Be grateful that they're trying at whatever it is that they're working on, right? Change your expectation for appreciation and everything changes. And changes ahead, right? Change is constant. Growth is optional. So it's up to you whether you're going to grow or not. There we go. There's that quote from Wayne Dyer. Change the way you look at things. Things you look at change. Perspective, my friends, is everything. So secret number two, no secret at all, right? It's forgiveness. And I'm just putting this together in this way. You may know them individually, but these, I believe, are really the top three. That's why I called it the top three things for living that happier, more fulfilled life. Obviously, there's other things, but I think these are the three top ones. Of course, this one being forgiveness. One of the most important things that we want, that people want, is to forgive. Is we all want forgiveness, but it's also the most difficult thing for us to give is forgiveness, right? Thing we all want, the thing that's hardest to get and hardest to give. And we're going to really go into the forgiveness a lot, but it really is about forgiveness, because forgiveness doesn't absolve people of their sins, doesn't make what they did right. What it does is it frees you from the prison that you've put yourself into, right? Because you've shut yourself up in the world. You put up that wall to keep the bad people away and the bad things away. And it may have worked at one point, and it may still work, but you know what else you keep away? The people that you do love and the things that you want in your life. Just like anger and resentment is the poison that you take, the abuse you give yourself for the actions of others. So when you forgive others, you free yourself. When you forgive others, you let go. You cut those energetic strings that keep them tethered to you. And sometimes the person that hurts you doesn't even remember. They don't even know sometimes that they hurt you. They're certainly not thinking about you, only you are. So you're just renting space in your head. They're renting space in your head for nothing, right? So it's about forgiveness. It's about freeing you from what it is that freeing you from the pain, freeing you from that connection, right? You know, in the Lord's Prayer and many other prayers, you know, forgiveness is a big part of it. And I love this line, and something that I one time told my mom, because she prays all the time, and she's a very religious woman. And the Lord's Prayer is something she prays all the time, and a big part of that is, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Powerful. So I told us once, I said, Mom, pay attention to what you're saying. Don't just say the words. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So let me ask you this. If the level of forgiveness that you got in your life was equal to the level of forgiveness you gave to others, what would that look like? Because we all want to be forgiven for the mistakes and the sins that we've committed in the past, but we're quick to ask for that, but we're not quick to do. So if we want to be forgiven, I would tell my mom, if you want to be forgiven, you want God to forgive you your trespasses, then you must forgive the trespasses of others that others have done to you. And if you don't forgive others, and you're telling God, hey, don't forgive me at all, because I don't forgive anybody else either, right? Words matter. We're going to get to that a little bit more as well. So there are 5 steps to forgiveness. I'm going to get into this more in the masterclass, and I'll even take you guys through it, or whoever wants. Maybe it'll be one person or 2 people that I take through this, or likely take the group through it. But there are 5 steps to forgiveness, the way I put them together. And I'll just go through them briefly, not really explaining, because again, it's going to take too long, and we're already probably running a few minutes behind schedule here. And it's this: is number one is you got to forgive the circumstance, the situation, even the place, the location where that thing that may have happened. Next, you forgive the person who hurt you. Then, of course, the third one is to forgive God. And you may say, I don't need to forgive God. I don't need to forgive the universe. He doesn't need my forgiveness. Well, inevitably, when something bad happened, you turned up and said, why God? Why me? That in itself is an accusation of sorts, right? God did that to you, so forgive God. Now I'm going to skip over number 4 for a second and go right to number 5 and say you've got to forgive yourself. But in order to forgive yourself, you've got to do number 4. Number 4 is you've got to take massive responsibility. You've got to own your part in whatever that was. And now I understand that there are some people that really went through some really bad shit. If you're a child, you're being abused, sexually abused, you were in a car accident, you were innocent, nothing you could have done. And I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not telling you to accept responsibility because it's your fault. I am saying you can just own the fact that you were alive at the wrong time, at the wrong place. Why? Because inevitably you blamed yourself. What could I have done differently? Why me? Whatever. So forgiving yourself requires you also own a little bit, just a fraction of the fact that you were just in the wrong time, the wrong place, wrong time, wrong decision, whatever it was, right? So forgive that. Those are the steps of forgiveness. And this goes along with the closed eye process, emotional stacking. It goes along with the Ho'oponopono, ancient spiritual prayer of forgiveness. It's a drawn out process, but I just want to give you a little glimpse of what that looks like. And I promise you can't forgive even the darkest, worst things and people and instances that happen in your life. And it's epically important because it gives you the freedom that you want so you can love again. You can feel the love. Because here's the thing, my friends, you can only love others as deeply as you love yourself. And you can only accept the love from others as deeply as you love yourself. So sometimes you ever feel like somebody really loves you, they're trying, but you just don't feel it. You're not connected. It's not them. You know, like the old saying, no, it's not you, it's me. Well, it really is. In many cases, it really is you. So it's about doing the work, the hard work. If you want to have what others don't, you got to be willing to do what others won't. You've got to do the work. So sometimes it hurts more to hang on than it does to let go. Like getting your hand on a barbed wire fence, man, it sucks, it hurts. You got to let go. And sometimes holding on to those past mistakes, those past traumas, those past memories hurt more than it does to let go. Just let go. Let go. And again, it's about taking radical responsibility, because while some things weren't your fault, many things were. It didn't work out. Well, it didn't work out. There's always 2 parties to an argument. Well, the marriage didn't work out. Okay, well, 2 parties to an argument. You made the decision to marry that person, ask that person out, say yes, whatever it is, right? So take radical responsibility for your role in whatever happened and transpired in your life. So here's the question that I have for you. And I'd like you to answer it, whether it be in the chat or whether it be just writing it down for yourself, because it's epically important to understand and to know this and really own it. Who do you need to forgive in your life? Who do you need to forgive in the past? Who do you need to forgive right now in the present? Because you can't reach for something new. You can't grasp onto your future with both hands if you still got one or maybe both hands holding on to the past, the pain of whatever it is that you went through. You must grow through that. And that's what we're here for, to help you do just that. And again, this is just an intro to all of this, but write it down. Who do you need to forgive? Really important. I want you to make sure, because if you haven't done it yet, so I want you to write down there. I want you to write your name, because you need to forgive yourself. And inevitably, there's other people in your life that you need to forgive as well, that you haven't even thought about. Maybe the people that you hurt, that hurt you. People that were close by and did nothing, stood by and watched, stood by and said nothing. Again, this is one heck of an exercise that I'm going to take everybody through in the next level masterclass series that I'm going to introduce to you at the end of this video. You know, and I mentioned this before, yesterday's struggle is today's strength, right? So be grateful for all the struggles that you go through, because they make you stronger, wiser, humble. Don't let it break you. Let it make you, because you've survived, as I said, 100% of the worst days of your life. So here's the other thing. We need to blame effectively. We are often so quick to blame other people. Why it didn't work out. Oh, my father beat me. My mother didn't hug me. My boss is an ass. My partner screwed me out of this. I did this happen. I was in an accident, blah, blah, blah. We're often quick to blame. My husband's an ass. My wife is this. I can't believe it. This and that, betrayal, all of these things. But you've got to blame effectively, because if you're going to blame them for the bad, which is easy to do and we're quick to do, guess what? Thing is, you've got to blame them for the good as well. As I look back, yeah, I had a really rough life, but I am who I am today because of that life. I had that accident that I blamed so much for it, and it took away my memory and it hurt my body, and I was just not, I was in a lot of pain. But here's the thing, it didn't come to derail me. It didn't come to knock me off my course. It came to knock me onto the course that I should have been on the whole damn time. But I had to be awoken. And as a friend of mine says, every day he dies to the man he was yesterday. Well, I had to die at 18 to become this new version of me, to become the man that I am today. I didn't have the father that I wanted, the father that I deserved, but I had exactly who I needed to have to be the man, the father, the husband, the compassionate person that I am today. And everything that you've been through, just like everything that I've been through, has prepared me for what it is that I say I want. We're a compilation of our life's experiences, the good, the bad, and especially the ugly. So we've got to be grateful. I got to thank my father for my work ethic. I got to thank my father for the fact that I can rebuild this whole damn house if I wanted to, because I've been rebuilding apartments and helping people fix their houses, because that's what we did back in the day, right? This weekend you come for the next month and help me redo my apartment. Guts, walls, electric, plumbing, all of it. And the next month we're going to go to yours, and yours is almost like the Amish farm builders, right? So I got a great work ethic. I know how to do a lot of stuff because of that difficult childhood. I also know how not to raise my kids in a way, right? And how to love my kids because I didn't get the love that I wanted. So I've got to blame him effectively, because unknowingly he made me a better father. He made me a better man. So we've got to blame effectively. You're having a bad relationship, a bad breakup with your spouse. Okay. You have kids. Have you blamed them for those beautiful kids or those grandkids or the experiences that you did have that were good at the time? Got to learn to blame effectively, my friends. Blame effectively. So who do you need to blame effectively? Again, this is an interactive. I'd like you to put it in the chat or write it down for yourself, because it's not for me, my friends. This is for you. Who do you need to blame effectively? Who else do you need to blame effectively? I want you to write down 3, 4, 5 names, 6. Hell, you can probably go to 20 or 30. It doesn't have to be somebody from just the recent past. It could be somebody from far in the past. Just remember to maybe blame yourself effectively for the courage and the strength that you got and you picked up and you learned, and the badass that you are today. Remember, my friends, that everything you're going through is preparing you for exactly what it is that you've asked for. And life is testing you to see if it is really what you want. And it is about just letting it go. Let go of the past. The past is heavy. It's heavy. Put it down. The stress does nothing but hurt you. Past is heavy. Put it down. And of course, secret number 3 is your story. And I love this because words matter. The words you speak matter. We've all heard the person that comes in, they start telling the story, and it's the same freaking stop story time and time again, time and time again. Those of you who are friends of mine on Clubhouse and have been in the rooms, and I'm not going to list it, of course, but there's some people that would come in, they tell the story, the same story, what they do and what they're doing, what they're up to and everything else. Same exact story every single time they grab the mic, even if they were on the stage every single day, to the point that I could repeat their story probably better than they can. But is that story going to empower you or disempower you? Are you using words that are going to lift you up or knock you down? Because words matter. They really matter. Because the words you use when you speak to other people are important. But the words you use when you're speaking to yourself are most important of all. Because those words can weaken that inner warrior, that inner child, strengthen that inner child, that inner warrior, that king, that queen inside you to go out and confront whatever challenges, whatever problems you're facing. Build you up or knock you down. Words matter. Because once you speak those words, you start to create. Thoughts are things, words you start to manifest. Spelling, when you're spelling something out, you're casting a spell. Words matter. So what story are you telling? And I can guarantee you this, if you change your story, the story you're telling, instead of a victim to the story of victor, change your story, you change your life, guaranteed. And remember that you are the creator of your own destiny, and you are the author of your story. So the two most powerful words in any language is I am, yo soy, je suis, yo soy. Because whatever follows I am follows you. Because who you believe you are is who you are. I'm not who you believe I am. It's who I believe you believe I am. But who I am is determined by the words that I speak every single day. That's why those incantations, these affirmations, speaking kindly to yourself, because we're terrible at speaking kindly to ourselves. When something goes bad, we beat the shit out of ourselves on a regular basis, 5, 10, 20 times a day. Fortunately, when you wake up tomorrow, what happens? Oh, nah, that was in the past. No, you beat yourself up again. And many of us are beating ourselves up for the last freaking 50 years, right? There's that story of, so many people get buried die at 25, only get buried at 75 and say they've lived 50 years, but they haven't. They've lived the same year 50 times because they're stuck in some bullshit story that didn't let them grow beyond where they are. I'm sure we all have friends that whenever you see them, they're still talking about their high school football days. And remember that time under the bleachers or this or that, because they haven't grown through that. They haven't grown out of it, and they're still stuck in their story. Remember that the words I am matter. The words you speak become the house you live in. So practice incantations, practice speaking kindly to yourself. When you look in the mirror, empower yourself, lift yourself up. You can speak light and love and all the things that you want to hear, that you long to hear from other people. Give them to yourself. It's a gift that you can give yourself each and every day. So who are you? Who are you? Write it down. Tell me who you are in 3 words. Matter of fact, I'm not going to get into this here, but I will just tease it, so to speak. If you were to ask 2 or 3 of your friends to give you 3 words that would best describe you, maybe they would all be the same, maybe they'd be different, but write down 3 words. Who are you? And don't say I'm a real estate broker, I'm an attorney, I'm a speaker, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a coach. No. Who are you really? That's what I want to know. Who are you really? And more importantly, who do you want to be? Who is it that you're building up to be? Who do you want to be? So many people don't even know that. And they wonder why they're walking around aimlessly and life just isn't fulfilled, or they don't know their purpose because they still don't know who it is that they want to be. So that's an important question, which we too will cover in the masterclass, and we'll help you discover that. The next question, very close. I flipped the slide. You guys may not have even noticed it. Who do you need to be? Who do you need to be to be, do, and have the things that you say you want to do? Who do you need to become for yourself, for your family, for your community, for the world? So next thing is writing a new chapter. Oftentimes people get stuck reading the same damn chapter and not turning the page. Stop retelling the same old story. Stop retelling the same story. Change their narrative. Remember, you can't just be the victim. In order for you to have a story, because by the way, we're all writing our story, right? Life is like a book. I love this line. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, some are exciting, but you never know till you turn the page what life has in store for you. What's next? You'll never know if you don't turn the page. Turn the page, start a new page. Better yet, maybe sometimes just take the book, burn the book, throw the book out, put it in a drawer, and start a new book, right? Start a new book. Remember, you're the one in control. You're the author of your own story. And whatever story you're writing, make sure it's worth reading. So what's your story going to be? Is it going to be the same old bullshit, I'm a victim story? Or are you going to have a new story? And what will your new story be? Is it going to be an epic adventure? An epic love story? Is it going to be a thriller? Is it going to be a horror story? Is it going to be a drama? What's it going to be? Remember that you're the author of your story. You're the one holding the pen. Don't let anybody else hold the pen. Remember, you are the hero of your own story. You can't just be the victim. You need to step in, lean in. Every good story starts with a problem. It starts with the person that's struggling. They're dealing with this problem. Then something happens that inspires them. And they have to step up and be the hero, take life by the horns, right? And do it and stand up for themselves. Go out and do the things that they need to do for themselves. They may have that sidekick. They may have that sage. They may have that person that's inspiring them, but they have to do it. Oftentimes people say, Tony, thank you so much. You saved my life. You helped me so much. You changed my life. I say, no, I didn't. You did. I was just here as your guide, your coach, your mentor. I was a person helping to keep you accountable, keeping you on the straight and narrow. But remember, you're the hero of your own story, and you got to step up and act like it, right? You're the hero of your own story. And I'm going to share a little story here, a parable, so to speak, about life. Some of you may have heard me speak about this before, that life is like a video game. I want you to imagine whether you're a kid or maybe your kid brings home, or your grandkids, for some of us perhaps, right? But our kids bring home a game. They say, Dad, I want you to play with me. I said, okay. But they already know the console and you're watching them play and they're like kicking ass. You're like, holy cow, how am I going to do this? Why do they know how to play? They know how to play because they've done it for so long. They've played so many hours. They're masters. They can do stuff that you didn't even know was possible. So you grab the remote and you're fudging around with it, and it's hard. You're trying to figure it out. You don't even want to play with them at first. You say, I'm going to play a couple of rounds myself just so I can get acclimated. So you grab that remote. Finally, you're working the joysticks. You figure out how to do it. You get past the first 30 seconds of the game that took you an hour to do. But now you're in the game and you're playing the game and you're going through. And you're starting to get more comfortable. You know how to jump, where to duck, where the enemies are coming from, what to shoot, how to kick, jump, crawl, all of those things, dash, and all of those things. And you're feeling pretty good about it, but games get a little harder. And just when you get into the hang of it, you get towards the end of the level, and what happens? What's at the end of the level? That monster, that big boss that you have to overcome, that challenge that you have to overcome so you can get to level 2, the next level of the game. But you have to pass level 1. Level 1 is preparing you for what level 2 is going to bring, because of what happens in level 2. Now you get through it, and it takes you forever, but you finally figure out how to do it and you beat the boss. You go to level 2. Level 2, you're feeling better about yourself. You're playing the game. You know the controls. You know where things are coming from. The boss from level 1 comes. You already know how to beat his ass, so you kick his butt. You keep going, and you get to the end of level 2, and what's there? A bigger boss, a bigger problem, a bigger challenge in life, and you've got to figure out how to get through it. And you work at it, and you're dedicated, and you work and you push and you kick and you fight and you sweat. And finally, hours later, you beat them. You're like, yes, you feel like a champion. Now you go to level 3. And here you are, level 3. You're feeling great about yourself. You know the controls. You know how to beat boss 1, boss 2. You're sailing along. And what happens at the end of level 3? Another big ass problem. Maybe it's a medical condition. Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe it's a partnership separation. Maybe it's a financial crunch. Maybe it's the government just passed some regulation that changed the way business is done and your company's screwed. But you struggle and you fight and you figure it out, and bam, you beat it and you get to the next level and you're feeling like a king. But then you look over to the side and your son is playing at the TV. He's at level 25. You're like, holy shit. How am I only on level 4? This is so hard. He's on level 25, making it look easy. Yeah, but he put in the time. He put in the time. He did the work. What winds up happening is most people don't finish the game. Even kids, maybe most kids do, I guess, but most people don't ever finish the game that they purchased, and they wind up buying and starting another game without ever having finished this one. And if they just keep playing this one and they just decide, you know what, the boss, the monster, the challenge, the problem that I'm facing at the end of level 5 or 6 is too great, so I'm just deciding I'm going to stay here. I'll just play. I'm a level 6, baby. I'm good. And they just stay there. But there's so many more levels. And just like in life, every next level of your life is going to demand the next level of you. And every level of your life is a learning opportunity for you to learn what it is you need to learn. So when you get to level 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, you're equipped with the knowledge and the know-how and the experience and the wisdom that you picked up in the prior levels. Because if you pick up that game and you went right to level 25, you wouldn't last that game, and you'd quit the game. You wouldn't even play anymore. So my friend's life is very much like a video game. And every next level of your life is going to demand the next level of you. So now let me ask you this. Who's counting on you to win the game? Your family, your wife, your children, your parents, your neighbors, your employees, maybe some children in Africa or wherever it is that you're, or whatever contribution you're making in the world. They're probably the ones counting on you. Write it down. Who's counting on you? So let me ask you, what happens if you don't grow and get better at this game of life? What happens if you don't improve your skills? What happens when you don't come when you come to play with others that have more skill and they're just kicking your ass because you decided to not grow? What happens if you don't level up? What happens to your confidence if you never get to that next level that you so desire? What happens to your mental state if you don't get to the next level? What happens to your relationships if you don't grow into the man or woman you're destined to become? What happens if you give up? Who's watching you and how you're moving and the moves that you're making, decisions you're making? What will your life look like in 5 years if you don't change? In 10 years if you don't grow? In 15 years if you're still in the same place that you are today? In 20 years and you haven't grown and you're still here, but everyone else has grown past you? How's life going to look? Is that what you want in your life? Is your life and how you play the game going to serve as an example, or is it going to serve as a warning? These are the questions that I want you to ponder. These are the questions that we all need to ponder. The other question is, who really loses when you don't win? You think, well, if I lose, what's the big deal? No. Who really loses if you don't win? Because there's always somebody counting on us. There's always somebody relying on us. We've often heard, to take the island, you got to burn the boats. Yeah, this may be true. But before you burn the boat, make sure that you look back and everyone that's in that boat is a willing participant in whatever it is that you're doing. Because sometimes they're not. But who really loses if you don't win? Who's going to suffer? Because it's not just you. Maybe it's the people that love you that see you suffering. Even if they're not suffering themselves, they may be suffering because they see you suffering. I know for one that if people around me are suffering, I'm suffering. That's why the purpose of my life and who I am is to be a force for good, to help ease suffering in the world. And that's something that I think we should all do, because my friends, if we all did a little, no one would have to do a lot. So now let me ask you this. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? Are you ready to learn how to play the game of life at another level? At the next level? Are you ready to improve your skills? Are you ready to improve your mindset? Are you ready to improve your connection and understand who you are? Are you ready to have an even more self-confidence and be more committed and having that zest for life? Are you ready to have even more courage? Are you ready to improve your self-discipline and your dedication, your commitment? Are you ready for the next level of you? Because in order to become the 1%, my friends, you must do what the 99% won't. And becoming the 1% is really what all of our targets should be. Forget what was happening with the 99% and the 1%. No. You want to be in the 1% or 5% or 10%. You don't want to be on the bottom spectrum of that, because most people don't aim high and miss. They aim low and hit. I, for one, I'm aiming high, and I want you to do the same. So I'd love you to join our Get Up and Grow community. You can go to the website, getupandgrow.com. There's a little more information here. Here's what one of our inner circle masterminds look like. We get together once or twice, sometimes 3 times a year, and we just come together. This is actually at dawn. We're doing our morning routines, our spiritual connection. Each one, obviously, there's people from every religion on here, right? But we're all doing some priming exercise and doing some other things that I'll introduce you to in the masterclass as well. So what I'm really talking about here is that next level masterclass series, presented, of course, by me. It's going to take place over the course of 8 weeks, or it's 8 sessions. It may not be every single week, because people. I want to be as flexible. Maybe we'll figure it out, but it'll be 8 sessions over the course of 8 to 12 weeks, because there's going to be weeks that are holidays and graduations and things of that nature. So I'm cognizant of that. So it's the next level masterclass because the next level of you is going to demand the next level, rather the next level of your life is going to demand the next level of you. And we're going to have also a next level inner circle, which is what that picture of this group really is, right? It's the next level inner circle where we'll meet a couple of times a year. We'll have some great events. And that's going to be another thing that is going to be offered. There's going to be a cost to that, of course, but there's going to be some breaks along the way that I'll be able to share with all of you. So I'm just going to run through some of this pricing for you quickly, and just don't worry about it. Don't let the numbers scare you. We're gonna offer you a special offer at the end. So the next level masterclass series, what is it? You know, you're gonna get the next level masterclass series that sold alone is gonna be a $49.97 value. It's gonna be 8 90-minute sessions with Q&A and some one-on-one as well throughout that. With that, you're also gonna get a one-on-one personal coaching session with me. That's $1,000. Where you get 2 months access to the next level inner circle community, which is going to be $9.97 a month. And you'll have 2 months of that for you to try out and see how it fits. And I'm sure that you're going to be coming through, because in that next level inner circle, what we're going to do is it's going to be me speaking 3 out of the 4 weeks. And then I'm going to bring in one badass speaker, somebody that's really at the top of their game in business or in life or in meditation, spirituality, whatever it is. I'm going to open up my Rolodex and bring them into our community so you can continue to learn from them as well, and not just from me. There's, of course, an invitation to, there's going to be a private meetup in the New York City area. It's going to be $4.99. It's going to be dinner. It's going to be maybe an interesting shooting experience. Who knows what it's going to be? Maybe it'll be a bee experience in my bee yard. We'll see what we do and what people decide to do and who decides to come. That's a $4.99 value. There's also, you're going to have access to the recording of that masterclass series, fully edited. We're going to be selling that as an evergreen program for $297. There's going to be 30 days of inspirational quotes. This is something that I put together to give to everyone as well. And of course, the Get Up and Grow private community, where you'll be able to kind of really connect with each other. That's going to be on WhatsApp. We're probably going to have a Telegram group as well. So maybe a little bit easier to connect, because these days WhatsApp, there's so much going on there. And of course, the other thing that I was encouraged to do, and I think this was brilliant, every single time I offer that live master class, you're invited to attend for free for as long as I do them. So that's another $49.87 value. Altogether, it's a value of $13,997. But today's offer is $24.97. But what I decided to do for the first couple of people that decide to join me today, it isn't going to be $24.97. I'm just going to be right back to that. It's going to be, wait for it, $14.97. I'm going to take an extra $1,000 off of the plan today. So if you just, and I'll come back to this slide. So if you'd like to scan that bar and join me on this mission of personal development and growth, I'll come right back to this. But what I want to do before even the Q&A, I want to give you this formula for changing your state. Again, I learned this from my mentor. It's something that I apply very often in my life, because life is always happening. It happens to me just like it happens to you. And imagine, so here's your state. Imagine that there's a pyramid and the state is in the middle. And the foundation of all of it is physiology. If you want to change the way you feel, you're feeling tired, you're feeling bored, you're feeling depressed, sad, whatever it is, just to change your state, you just change your physiology. You get up and move. You take a sip of water. You do jumping jacks. You run around the table. You do whatever it is. You get the blood moving, right? Because motion equals emotion. So you change your physiology. You start to change the way you feel. Like right now, if you just put a big old goofy smile on your face, I guarantee you, you're going to feel different than what you had felt like 3 seconds prior. Number 2 is focus. Where focus goes, energy flows, right? Focus on what you want. Focus on the solution, not the problem. When you change your physiology, you change your focus, you start to change right away. But when you do all 3, when you change your language, the words that you speak, from negative to positive, from downtrodden to inspirational, to boosting yourself up, when you change all 3, you can change how you feel in an instant. You can change your mood in an instant just by changing these 3 things. So practice this, and I promise you it's going to change your game. You're pissed off. You're going to go into a meeting and you don't want to go into pissed off. You can change your state just like that. Where are you focusing? How are you moving? And what words are you using? So that is it for the presentation right now. I am going to open up to any questions that you may have. But in the meantime, this is our website. Of course, if you scan this, you'll still have access It's only a couple of us in here at the moment. So for the first action takers, we're taking an extra $1,000 off. So if you scan that and join me on this mission, I promise you it's going to be worth. It's going to be the best money you've spent in a very long time, because I'm going to pour in and give you everything that I can give in that time. And then beyond that, with those 2 months of that inner circle mastermind, I'm going to give even more. The next level inner circle, I'm going to give even more. And I'm going to open up my Rolodex and bring some of the masters and the people that I've had the opportunity to learn from and to speak on stages with, and to connect on a deep level. I'm going to have them come in and also share their best with you. So join me. Join me on getting your life to the next level. Because remember, the next level of your life is going to demand the next level of you. And who doesn't want to squeeze more juice out of every day? Squeeze more juice out of the life you have. Be happier. Have more fulfillment. And I've given you some of the keys today. I promise you, you practice gratitude, you forgive, and you change your story and the words you use on a regular basis. You change that. And I promise you, your life will start to change dramatically. So thank you again for being here with me. Thank you for being on this journey of personal development. I thank you. Your family thanks you. Your business associates, your friends, and everyone that you get an opportunity to come into contact with. They thank you as well, because it changes you. So again, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for committing this. I don't know, I guess it's about just about an hour since I started. I think it was like 9:12 when I started. So thank you for spending this hour with me.